Yeah, Riley, Nathan Riley. I was just writing on the field,
Okay.
so I was sloppy.
From George Daniel Field on Oberlin Avenue in Lorain. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to a very special sports presentation on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. We've got some seventh grade football for you on this broadcast. Tim Elkhorn, along with my great friend Tom Bauer. Yes, seventh grade Lorain football taking on Firelands, as Firelands will have it first as we are underway here at George Daniel. And boy, there's a lot of running room for Brett Burry down the right sideline, keeping his feet in bounds, and he may take it all the way, and he's gone. Well, how about that? The very first play of the game.
65 yards from a seventh grader.
Yes.
That's quite an accomplishment, isn't it?
Looked like he might step out over on that far sideline, but he was able to keep those feet in bounds, and one play into this ball game, Firelands has jumped out to a 6-0 lead.
Well, I was talking to the Lorain coach, and they didn't have a very successful season at the beginning. He says his players are starting to understand the game, and they had a great game last week against North Olmsted. They scored early, but they held them the whole rest of the game. But they got beat 8-6 kind of thing, but he said the players are starting to come around.
So now a 2-point conversion attempt for Firelands as they score right out of the chute here at George Daniel. So we'll see if Lorain can respond. Anthony Heyer is the Firelands quarterback. Some miscommunication there, so he's going to try to run it in, and he's not going to go anywhere. Jordan Finley was able to track him down and make the stop for Lorain High. Or excuse me, for Lorain. Yeah, it's going to be a few years before it's Lorain High.
Well, they still call themselves Lorain.
There you go.
Remember the old days of Longfellow and Whittier and all those things is all done. Now it's Lorain. So.
And, of course, if you've watched some of these telecasts on TV 20 before, you know that at the 7th and 8th grade level, no kickoffs. So teams will simply take it on the 35-yard line. So now Lorain High has it. And let's see if they can respond as they trail early 6-0 as Brett Bury with a 65-yard touchdown run for Firelands to get things started. Straight ahead handoff, and how about some running room for Lorain High? I'm going to have a hard, old habits are hard to break, Tommy.
Lorain's Lorain, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was Daniel Robinson, I believe. Yes, Daniel Robinson. And he got 9 3/4. Very, very close to that first down marker.
Inch away. I say they're going to run him again.
Actually, it's
Josiah.
Yeah, and heading to the right side and picking up a first down is Josiah LeBoy. And he got that first down at about the 47-yard line. 8-minute quarters, so we're down to 6:45 to go in the first quarter here at George Daniel.
Yeah, I think we did the 7th grade game a couple weeks ago, and the little different backfield. Josiah was the quarterback back then. They put him at running back to get Robinson some quarterbacking in. Coach said that Josiah, straight A student, one of the top in the class, so that's good coming up.
Absolutely. Straight ahead handoff, and boy, that didn't go anywhere. Daniel Robinson thrown down.
There's some sportsmanship. Daniel just picked up the kid. The kid had knocked him for a loss.
Lost 2 back to the 45-yard line. Well, it's interesting. I dashed over here to George Daniel Field from the studios of WLCS TV 20, the Keebler Studios, and, I had Damian Creel on one of the sports scene shows that we just recorded, and he talked about really building this program at the foundation level. So this is the future right here.
It starts with 7th grade.
Little misdirection, play action as LeBoy kept it himself and some tough running. Got close to that 50-yard line. Tom, you've coached at all levels.
I have, yes.
So at the 7th grade level, at these younger levels where kids are really learning the game of football, as a teacher and as a coach, what are you trying to instill?
You have to teach them two things. One, to love the game. And second, tackling, blocking, skills. So everyone talks about, they got to do exactly what the varsity does and everything like that. I never had that concept because I thought skills are more important. Because at this age, sometimes what you do in high school isn't age appropriate. So, I was more on teaching, tackling, and blocking.
There you go.
Uh-oh.
All sorts of movement in the line right there as flags are flying.
Well, that's going to take the sticks to.
It'll be close. But all of a sudden, 3rd and 1. The playbook has maybe 3rd and 3. Put the ball down at the 46.
I was talking to the coach. They have something they call no play. And I guess that was one of their no plays to draw them offside.
Okay. So again, 3rd down. A little bouncing snap, but it's scooped up and churning his way to about the 44-yard line for Lorain.
That's one thing that we never did when I was coaching junior high is do that direct snap. Because I thought the center on a direct snap team is probably one of the most important players on a team.
Mm-hmm.
You don't roll it back or over the head. You see so many mistakes. But you get a kid that can do that kind of stuff, he'll do it for the next 6 years.
Right. They will have found his spot. So on a 4th down and 1 with 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter, Lorain down 6-0. They're going to go for it. A little bit of a low snap, but scooped up at a 1st down and a whole lot more as some nice running there by LaBoy.
Well, they'll give them forward progress for the 1st down.
So Lorain moves the sticks, keeps the drive alive. We mentioned your coaching, but it doesn't matter who it is. When you're a coach at this level, boy, the patience that you have to have.
Yes, you do.
Because you're really teaching the game of football. I'm sure there's guys that certainly have never played football before, so there's an intimidation factor and a learning curve.
And the things that you just assume because you've been around the game for 30 years, they don't know yet.
Right.
Yeah. One thing about this late, sometimes you can yell at them, but sometimes you got to give them a little hug too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's true.
1st down play for Lorain at the 40-yard line of Firelands. There's an inside handoff, and that play didn't go anywhere as, once again, Firelands was able to snuff out the handoff to Daniel Robinson.
I wish I had a name on number 59. That's about his 3rd or 4th big-time tackle.
Well, in Firelands, they grow them big.
They do, don't they?
Of course, I lived in the Firelands School District for many years. All 4 of Diane and I's kids went to Firelands and graduated from Firelands, and they must feed them well in that school district.
I have a granddaughter that's a 5th grader in Firelands Elementary right now. So, yes. I was just talking to the coach. He's the phys ed teacher at Firelands Junior High. He said he's going to be looking forward to seeing her next year.
Oh, that's great. 2nd down and 13 now for Lorain. We're down to 2:10 to go here in the first quarter. And again, the quarterback is Josiah LaBoy.
I think there's a football hit the ground. I see. Yep. I thought so. I seen a fumble.
And indeed, Lorain with a turnover.
Recovered by Gabe DiFilippo. Yeah. Well, now they have to stop. They don't know what their offense is going to be because they've only seen one play on offense so far.
That's true. If you've just joined us here on WLCS TV 20, Firelands started at their own 35. Of course, no kickoffs in middle school football, 7th grade football. And on the very first play, Brett Bury, I believe is how it's pronounced, went 65 yards for a touchdown. So let's see what Firelands does on their second offensive play of the game. Again, their quarterback is Anthony Heyer.
Yeah, and he's in there with Nathan Rowley as the other running back. I'm sure they run exactly the same offense that the Firelands offense runs, the high school runs.
Mm-hmm. As you said, 7th, 8th grade, you're teaching the fundamentals, but you also want to instill at least some of what the high school is doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that as they get to that level, they have a basic knowledge, a blueprint as to what will be expected of them and what will be run.
Yes, exactly. Terminology is important.
So Firelands will start at the 42-yard line. That one's dropped, but scooped back up by Heyer. Heyer looking for some running room, and as Hank Stram used to say, holding that ball out there like a loaf of bread. Dropped after a short gain to the 44.
Yeah, I see there was a little bad snap and everything, but he did well. I still remember the year, a bunch of years ago, Eddie Williamson was a quarterback for Lorain. The ball went over his head, and everyone panicked. I said, he won't panic. He's been doing that for since 7th grade. He's a senior now.
2nd down and 8 as we're down to a minute and a half to go here in the first quarter.
Here's a little jet.
Yep, a little misdirection play, and again, room on that right sideline. And this time they are able to knock the ball carrier out of bounds. If I can read Tom Bauer's handwriting, Dylan Bonnes with the carry for Firelands.
And that was Josiah taking him out of bounds, so he's an offensive and defensive player along with his straight A student. Yeah. This is a strange thing, Lorain and Firelands, but neither one of these 7th graders play a league schedule. They have to pick up games where they can.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
And now we've got a timeout taken by Lorain.
Yeah, Lorain has played Keystone, Vermilion, Akron, Firestone, North Olmsted. I was talking to the Firelands coach, Keith Paul. He said his team, the only Lorain County team they've played so far is Keystone. They're looking for games. He said he would love to play this game every single year, coming in a beautiful stadium like George Daniel. So,
by the way, I know it's been a few years now, but it is amazing to me the renovations that have been done at George Daniel Stadium. It looks great, even the refurbished press box.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got Joe Bach over here thinking he's working with Fox Sports or something. My goodness, he's got every gadget that there is. I mean, it really is nice.
It is. It is a beautiful stadium, isn't it?
And as new as it is, you still love the history and the tradition of what George Daniel Field represents. I mean, all the great players and the rivalry games and the athletes that performed here, not only on the football field, but, of course, the track. I mean, you think about if these stands could talk.
Yeah. This was built back in the old
this was a WPA project.
WPA, yes. The Sandusky's and all those, the Illyrias were all built at the same time.
So off the timeout with 1:12 to go in the quarter. 1st and 10 for Firelands. Straight ahead handoff and a lot of running room, breaking tackles.
He may go all the way.
10-5, and that's going to be a touchdown for Carson Zima. So Lorain not able to bring down Zima, and all of a sudden that Firelands lead is now 12-0.
Wow.
Well, as you said, Tom, the fundamentals and really the game of football, as much as it's changed and it's wide open, in the end, you still got to block and tackle.
That's two fundamentals of the game. Yeah. A lot of the skills, some of those kids have been doing playing on the street and those kind of things, but you got to learn to block and tackle when you get into tackle football in a stadium here like this.
And the 2-point conversion is good.
Caden Newark.
Caden Newark scampers in to make it a 14-0 Firelands advantage. We're down to 55 seconds to go in the first quarter here at George Daniel Field.
Yeah, they was talking to Keith Paul, and he mentioned I mentioned the size of his squad, not the size of his players, but the number of his players out there. He said, they spent a lot of time recruiting the hallways to make sure they had enough players that they could put on a good showing.
Well, you look at that Firelands sideline; they've already got their 11 guys out on the field for defense, and there's at least another 15, I would say,
sure,
over on that sideline, 15 to 18 7th graders. So when you've got those kind of numbers to build a program, and of course at Firelands High School, the head coach is Ryan O'Rourke, who was a quarterback for Mike Elder at Avon.
Yeah.
So that whole building a program, starting with the young kids, if anybody has done it, it's Mike Elder at Avon. So Ryan kind of following his mentor's lead, per se. Lorain High with the football as Josiah LeBoy. Can I just call him Lorain High for the rest of the game? That way I'm not trying to correct myself.
You already are calling him Lorain High for the beginning of the game.
That's true. Well, when I'm sitting here in the press box at George Daniel Field, although over the years with WLCS TV 20, Joe has had me come over and do, at the time, when the middle schools were kind of separated, 8th grade and 7th grade football.
Yeah.
So, and I love it to see, because it's interesting. You're going to see these kids in a few years at the Lorain High and performing at that level. And it's kind of cool to look back and go, man, I remember them at the 7th and 8th grade level.
I don't know if that was a encroachment or
left tackle may have stepped back. See what
I guess
my man Al Ivy calls out there. Al Ivy.
Your man Al Ivy always stands about 30 yards behind the offense.
Love Al Ivy. One of the great guys of Lorain County sports. Football official. Of course, was a basketball official for a long time. But unbelievable baseball umpire. He's really good out on the diamond.
Yeah, I talked to him about keeping the game under control. He said he always keeps the game under control. So that's Al. And he does big games, too.
Yes, he does.
The first time I seen him on a varsity level, he said, oh, yeah, next week I have Menor and the Canadian team. You know, as I said, Canadian teams, Canadian teams. He came back the next week and says, they were good. That's the same team that Lorain played coming out of Canada all those years.
Yep. Well, that'll mark the end of the first quarter as Firelands on 2 long touchdown runs, one by Brett Bury and another one by, Carson Zima.
Lima.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was a Z. Your handwriting is close to Jared Kozar's.
I was kind of doing it on the field with one hand. Yeah.
Do we keep it right here, Joe Bach, at the end of the quarter? We'll take a break. All right. Always listen to the director, the head honcho of the entire production, Joe Bach. So we'll take a break. 14-0. Lorain trailing at the end of 1 in 7th grade football. And you're watching it on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. $14-0. Lorain with the football as we will start quarter number 2 here at George Daniel Field. Tim Elkhorn along with Tom Bauer, Joe Bach, Terry Trout, and a student, correct?
Yeah, it's Jeff Torres.
Mentioned earlier, boy, the experience that the kids here in Lorain are able to get with not just television, but multimedia production.
Yeah. Yeah, you see on a varsity game, there's usually 5 or 6 students here working multiple cameras, replays. You know, I wonder why Firelands is doing so well on defense. I look at the beef on that 4-man defensive line
Those
out
are
there.
seventh
The
graders.
graders. Yeah, we don't have any sizes on things on this little abbreviated roster, but they look like some fine young football players.
Well, we mentioned before Ryan O'Rourke, the Firelands High School head football coach, and as you said, he has the guys at the middle school out recruiting and getting kids to play football, and that's where it all starts. If you're counting on kids that haven't played football before to suddenly start at the high school level,
no,
you're going to be behind the 8 ball.
And the success that Firelands varsity is having helps the recruiting.
Right.
Exactly. It filters down. They all want to be a part of that team now that they're doing so well. I know my granddaughter's gone to a couple games over there.
Well, of course, they have the brand new high school,
which
has energized the community. So here we go. First play of quarter number 2. Got a pass over the middle, and it's intercepted. As trying to complete that pass.
I don't have a number on 19 or 18.
It was
unless
Quado Grant, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, that threw the ball for Lorain.
Quado
Grant had it picked off, so Firelands will get it back.
It's kind of dangerous. Your very first pass of the game going dead over the middle, right in the linebacker area. Yeah.
So Firelands has scored the first 2 times they've had the football on 2 long runs. So Anthony Heyer, again the Falcons' 7th grade quarterback, 14-0. Firelands leading. We're early in the second quarter here at George Daniel. There's a handoff, and that time.
Nice little tackle, wasn't that? Number 15.
Yep, Roderick Franklin.
You know Roderick Franklin? Does that name ring a bell to you?
The Juggies?
Is that Juggie's son? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, of course, I asked him his nickname is he's the juicer.
Boy, Juggy Franklin, you talk about a football player and a wrestler.
Yeah, he was,
for Coach Turnus.
Walked on at Ohio State and made the traveling squad way back in the day, 94.
Juggy was outstanding. There's a handoff, and again, Lorain High with some difficulties tackling, although they're finally able to make the stop, but a first down picked up by Firelands.
Well, that was Brett Butery again. Yeah, he's a nice-looking running back.
Yes,
he is. Runs upright. And a
nice
stiff arm.
Nice stiff arm right there.
I didn't notice it until the replay.
So a first down for Firelands.
Oh, there's a new little formation for Firelands. Look at this. Under center.
Yep.
Oh, there's a nice blocking downfield, too. They'll not catch him.
That's going to be a touchdown for the Falcons.
Carson Lima.
Yep, Carson Lima with his second long touchdown of the day. Yeah. That one is from 48 yards out. And as you said, Tommy, he got a great downfield block.
Yeah.
And it sprung him. There was nothing but that beautiful green turf in front of Anthony for the score. Carson.
Yeah, I told the coach I coached his father way back there in an all-star game years ago. He was a linebacker for Amherst back in the day. So, things go around.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
Lima, sure.
Yeah.
And he's a coach. He was a coach at Avon for all those years. I think he might be coaching the Firelands now. I'm not sure, Lima.
Now we've got a 2-point conversion run, so it's a 22-0 Firelands lead with 6:22 to go.
Yeah, we don't have a name on 21. We do have Caden Newark. He's the extra point man. That's his second one. He let Lima specializes in the long run, and he specializes in the last 3-yarders.
Let's see if Lorain High can get some of the momentum back.
I'd like to see a drive down the field. It doesn't have to be all big plays. You have to be able to pick up positive offensive plays, though.
So, again, no kickoffs at the 7th grade level. So, Lorain has it at the 35-yard line.
I think Lorain's missing. Here he comes in. 63 is coming in a little late. William Cardona. He's on the wrong side. He's got to be the right tackle.
And again, just the fundamental aspects of learning the game. And now we'll have a stoppage. And now we'll start it up again.
Little low snap.
Looking for somewhere to run, and there isn't any room whatsoever for Grant. And Grant brought down at the 32-yard line.
I see Gabe DiFilippo's off of the pile last. I don't know if that meant he made the tackle, but it's hard to run against that defensive line of Firelands, especially when you have to pick the ball up off the ground.
Yes. Tom, you were alluding to coaching youngsters, especially at this level, 7th and 8th grade and the like. What part of the game do they generally pick up the quickest? Is it offense? Is it defense? Is it what do they generally say, okay, I get this?
They like to play the defense the best because you don't have to think as much, I don't think. I think that's their idea. That's that no play that Lorain runs.
Right.
But I think they like defense the best. But getting them to understand you have to learn to tackle correctly is the most important thing. You know, at this age, it's always grabbing up around the shoulders and those kind of things. You got to go low. You got to pursue. You got to keep your feet. All those kind of things. They like defense the most. Of course, the skill kids like to run the ball the most.
Right.
There goes.
Well, that's a nice job of turning the corner by Daniel Robinson as he realized there wasn't anything up front.
Yeah.
And he kind of stopped and made the read and got outside. As you watch here on the replay, he kind of stopped and said, okay, I see some turf over near our sideline.
When I mentioned tackling, that number 46, which we don't have a name on, 46 for Firelands, had a nice job. He went down low, tackled at the knees, shoulder into the knee, don't lead with your head, those kind of things. So I'm sure they work on skills, over there in South Amherst too.
3rd down and about 2 for Lorain, trailing 22-0. Trying to get something going here offensively.
They're in 4-down territories because I don't think they punt. There's LeBoy.
Well, that's a nice-looking play right there.
No,
LeBoy down the right side, and now he'll turn the corner, and he's going to take it all the way.
Yeah.
There we go, a 57-yard touchdown run for Lorain's Josiah LeBoy, and they're on the board. It's a 22-6 game as no flags. That score is going to count.
Wait till you see the replay. The downfield block down around the 20-yard line is what let him go into the end zone. Here it comes here pretty soon. Right there's one. That must have been the one I was talking about. Was that 88 that made the downfield block? Maybe Justin Clark?
Well, that was a nice play. It developed well. You could see the lane open up as, Tom, you alluded to, the nice downfield block. And now LeBoy's going to try to keep it for a 2-point conversion. Boy, he refuses to go down, and I think Firelands finally got him down inside the 1.
But look at the pile. There's all 11 white shirts on that pile. Talk about gang tackling. Sometimes you think 4 or 5 is a gang, but they have all 11.
Well, you swarmed to the football.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that the kids at this age, 7th grade and 8th grade, they like the defense. Yeah. Because generally you get to the football and you hit somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're not really to the point of nickel coverages and dime coverages and all that.
Yeah, you don't worry about that kind of stuff. That's your man.
Go tackle somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you swarm to the football.
And, offense is a more thinking man's game, too. You got to know your plays. You got to know your blocks. You got to figure out what the defense is doing so you can counter it. So Cardona hustling off the field.
So with 4:05 to go in the first half, Lorain's on the board. It's a 22-6 ball game. Trying to figure out a way to stop this Firelands 7th grade offense. They've been clicking as Hire gets the snap. And under a rush, and down he goes. There's our first sack of the ball game as Daniel Robinson came in.
Yeah.
And Heyer wasn't able to get it away.
That was the first we've seen any kind of offensive blitzing from them. But and that's another thing. You can't teach junior high kids how to pick up linebackers. They see that man over them, that defensive lineman, that's who they're going to block. There's no adjustments very, very seldom anyway. I see Robinson get ready to blitz again.
Here he comes, but boy, nice job by Firelands. A little bit of a draw, and now thrown down out of bounds at about the 38-yard line.
LeBoy again. Yeah, he's all over the field, offensively and defensively.
It's amazing that even at this level, you can see who the natural athletes are.
Yeah.
That was Nathan Rowley on that carry for Firelands. Nice job by Rowley.
Yeah, he got back the lost yardage from the sack and some positive yardage after that.
And now I'm not sure if we have an equipment issue or where the ball was spotted. Well, they leave the ball, so maybe a helmet issue. I'm not sure, but they halted things momentarily, and now we're just about ready to go as Al Ivy says, wind that clock. A little bit of trickery right there as heading to the right side is Lima, and there he goes. Carson Lima's going to have another long run and another touchdown for Firelands. How about that one from 62 yards away?
I think he only touched the ball 3 times. How many scores does he have?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, he got that long stride. I mean, he's deceptively fast. And
as you watch the replay, he just turns the corner. And as you said, Tom, he's got that long gait to him.
Yes.
And so he just outruns the Lorain High defenders.
And I bet you, if I'm playing right, it's going to be Newark for the 2-pointer.
That seems to be the strategy, and he got in on that one as well.
As long as Lyman can run 63 yards, I can run the last 3 for you. That takes the score to a 30-6. Now, Lorain needs something positive for these last 2 minutes and 55 seconds. No, you got to keep it away from running a running clock in this, because you think a 8-minute quarter with a running clock doesn't last very long.
30-6. I don't know what this Firelands offense has done before today's matchup, but boy, they've got some guys that can really cause some damage.
And I don't know all their opponents, but I keep mentioning Keith Paul. He was willing to have a nice little interview pre-game, but he said they lost their first 3 games without scoring. Then the next 2, they kind of starting to learn the game, and now they're playing well. So.
Little misdirection. Here comes Robinson to the left side, brought down as he was hit near the ankles as Robinson tripped up after a gain of 2.
Beautiful tackle, number 45 or 46, down around the ankles. That's the way you tackle this thing. Nice little run too. Watch this tackle.
Yep, just took the legs out from under him.
Open field. One thing you got to teach these 7th graders is you can go down on the ground. I mean, sometimes they don't like to hit the ground so hard. They like to be up around the shoulders. We had all kind of drills where you had to dive out and teach them that the ground is not your enemy.
We're going to try it again with LeBoy. LeBoy, nice cut up the middle. Trying to shake a couple of tacklers, can't do it. And again, Tom, you mentioned earlier, generally when a Lorain player goes down, it's not just one guy in a white jersey that's bringing them down. There's 3, 4, 5 guys. They are They are swarm tackling.
Yeah, it was Gabe DeFilippo. He held on until he got help, and that's the way you play defense. So you mentioned the head coach O'Rourke.
Ryan O'Rourke.
He's going to be proud when this group comes up in a couple years. Now, these are all 7th graders.
Right.
They got 8th grade yet before they can move up into the varsity level.
Now, Ryan has done a terrific job with the Firelands program. We're down to 1:15 to go in the quarter on a 3rd and 5 play for Lorain. 7th grade Titans at their own 40, and I think they just got themselves a free first down. That was good discipline right there from Lorain.
Ooh, somebody moved.
Wow. Boy, I'd have to.
Did somebody flinch? Did the center flinch? I don't
know. I was just going to say that was a good job of discipline by the Lorain side because I didn't see anybody move. Unless it was in the backfield. I was focusing more on the line. But
so was I. So
now we're at 3rd and 10. 30-6, Firelands on top. As they have broken off some big plays here in the first half. Going to go with a misdirection play. Robinson tiptoeing his way out over the 45, knocked out at the 46-yard line.
A great downfield block by Owen.
Yep. Zoldos.
So here's something positive. You don't have to score. At least you got to move the ball down the field a little bit going into halftime.
Right. Well, Lorain will have the ball to start the second half because Fireland scored on the first play of the game. So you're right. If you can make some good things happen here, talk about it, build on it, and then get the ball to start the third quarter. So the ball now at the 47-yard line.
I think they're going to put the ball up in the air a little bit. I may be wrong, but Firelands in a little bit of a prevent.
It'll be Grant awaiting, or no, Grant's in the. Well, Grant is in the pistol. And he is indeed going to launch it down the field, and it's caught. That's our young man, LeBoy. Boy, LeBoy went up and just caught that football amongst a lot of Falcons.
You see, now somebody got to call timeout. Do they have clock management? They do. Coaches, that coach is Adam Thompson. He's been around coaching. He coached over at Oberlin. He coached a little bit with Mike Akers and Gary Huff at different places they coach. So I think he's Mike Akers' son-in-law.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Mike's down at Wellington now with Big Huff.
Yeah.
Saw Mike and Gary when I was on WEOL a couple of weeks ago. We had the Keystone at Wellington game.
Yes.
I asked Coach Akers, I said, is there a football polo that you don't have as far as high school football in Lorain County is concerned?
You got a closet, all different colors, arranged by colors, yeah.
Well, Mike's a veteran coach, and he's made several stops, but
and you know, he always takes Gary Huff.
He does.
Yeah. Tommy Hicks.
And I can't call him Big Huff anymore. Boy, Gary has really slimmed down. He looks terrific.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 8 seconds. Ball at the 35-yard line. So
still got Quado at the quarterback, so I think he's going to put the ball up in the air again.
Now we got some movement. I think LeBoy was in a hurry to get downfield, and it will be an illegal procedure call.
See, what their passing sophistication isn't yet, but this is where you run a little crossing pattern. Because if you look at that, everyone is deep, but no one's covering the backside. But, you know, most junior high passes go down the field without going crossing.
And so now Lorain will take another timeout, say, okay, now what do we have in the playbook here at the 40-yard line?
Next time you do see Ryan over there at Firelands, mention I was doing a little recruiting for him. Because you remember the Hall of Fame that you emceed this year, the girl that was a inductee, Sextella Alberti.
Yes, absolutely.
Her sons go to Firelands, and the one who's now in 6th grade is a great athlete.
Oh,
You know,
really?
she takes a lot of her mother and father's athletic ability. So I said, you make sure you look him up for next year. Yeah.
My hunch is Coach O'Rourke may know about that young man already. It's amazing
Yeah.
how much the varsity level coaches are aware of
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
Sometimes of what's not coming.
Well, you always got to stay positive because you got to see something and they grow. You know, a
Yes.
lot of those seventh graders that are 90 pounds turn out to be a running back at 170 pounds 4 years later.
It's amazing. I mentioned earlier that Joe Bach has had me over here several times to do 7th and 8th grade games. And even a few years ago, you'd see a 7th grader, and the next year at the 8th grade level, and you go, wait,
Boy, he grew
how
up.
much did he grow?
He grew
From
up, yeah.
7th to 8th grade. Wow. So, yeah, the growth genes are amazing. Then we're going to have a pitch to LeBoy, and now LeBoy's going to heave it downfield, and it's intercepted. And brought down after making the interception is the Firelands defensive back, and that will end the first half of play.
And he's tackled down there by Robinson. I assume he was the intended receiver, so he was right there. So, you know, Lorain can throw the ball. So maybe that's going to be their strategy coming out for the second half, maybe to put the ball up in the air a little bit. But you got to tell the coaches sometimes you got to work the sidelines a little bit. You can't always go down the middle. There's safeties in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they're there. All right, we are at the half. 30-6. It's all Firelands at the intermission as they have put up some big runs for some touchdowns, and for Lorain High, one score on the board. 30-6, Firelands leads it at the intermission. Third quarter follows this timeout on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
What kind of Titans are we? This is a question we have to ask ourselves every day as we walk these halls. In Lorain City Schools, we are passionate about kindness. We believe one simple act of kindness can start the movement that changes the world around us. As a school, our positive behavioral intervention and support approach, or for short, PBIS, model is rooted in kindness. Our goal as a school is to increase our students and staff's kindness to self, kindness to others, and kindness to our environments. When we increase kindness in our school, we will decrease the behaviors that interfere with the positive environments we want in every school in our district. Let's see what that looks like in our buildings. The expectation of kindness in our schools starts the moment you begin your day. Upon entering classrooms, it is important that we remember to be on time, be prepared and have technology and supplies ready, be engaged and maintain a clean classroom. Our Titan expectation to be kind to self, kind of others, and kind to our environment extends to the hallways, in our restrooms, in the main office, in the cafeteria, and on school transportation. Our staff will be here to model, teach, and reward positive behaviors with the goal of creating a school culture of kindness. That's because the common expectations are designed to be the standard in every classroom and every school in Lorain City Schools. Titans, we know you can do this. Let's show the world what kind of Titans we are.
Welcome back as we get ready to start the second half of play. Lorain and Firelands, 7th grade football. You're watching the youngsters, the future of the Titans and the Falcons go at it here at George Daniel Field. Tim Elkhorn along with T. Bauer. Tom Bauer, great to hook up with Tommy again. Boy, we've been together at Lorain Sports Hall of Fame banquets for the past several years.
We have been. Yeah, it's been a great thing, and we're looking forward for a great class for 2023 also.
Well,
I got about 10 new nominees already.
Wow.
Not counting all the ones that are still on the active list. So, and I just got a thing from Tim Rose. Somebody, Lawhead, nominated Tim Rose, so he'll be a new nominee. Not that he has to be voted in yet, but a lot of good athletes. Christine Jackson, Jackson from Southview back in the day.
Yes.
She's being nominated. She played professional basketball over in Europe all those years.
I love them seeing that banquet year after year. And I told you last May, and again, as we were here at the half, be prepared just to go to the backup plan because Cavaliers basketball this season, it's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, folks talking perhaps a playoff run. So hopefully I'll be available for you on the 13th.
But I hope the Cavs do well.
Well, I hope it's just an off day in the playoffs. There we go. We'll see. But in the meantime, we get ready to start the third quarter. And as we had said, it will be Lorain with the football to start the second half. They're going to give it to LeBoy. Boy, I'll tell you what.
He don't go down easy, does he?
He keeps those legs churning and moving. And, of course, Tom and I talking during the first half about what you try to teach these guys, these young kids at the 7th grade level, the fundamentals. And, boy, if you're a running back, keep those legs moving, keep driving until you hear that whistle blow.
You know, one thing about we talk about a straight A student, but I was down talking to the coach earlier, and this Josiah come up to me and says, "You pronounce my name wrong." I go to call him Joshua, and he said Josiah. And you see that from a 7th grader who comes up to an adult and talks to him. You know you have a special kid.
Absolutely. Because he obviously did it respectfully and diplomatically. Yep. And now we've got some movement, as we've had this a few times where Lorain will stagger that count and draw Firelands off, and they were able to do it again right here. So now it's 2nd and 3 rather than 2nd and 8.
Now I see the big boy came in. That's Irving Zepp, 74, or Zepp Irving. Now he's a big boy for a 7th grader also in Lorain. He's the right tackle out there. Quado's back at the quarterback again, so that means he's the thrower on the team.
Low snap and smart play right there. Quado Grant just fell on that football, didn't try to scoop it up and run with it, made the safe play, although it is a loss. And now Lorain will be facing 3rd and long.
See, as a coaching technique, I would have had that center at halftime, centering the ball all halftime, because every one of his things is a little bit too low. You know, a quarterback is waiting for that ball by chest high, so he doesn't have to look down. He can keep his eye on the defensive line and get the ball at the same time.
Great point. Yeah, you want your eyes scanning the field as soon as that ball's in your hands. And seconds matter.
Yeah, he does.
So if you're bending down, scooping up, getting back up, this little draw play here to LeBoy, but a nice job of tackling by Firelands.
Now, this is a punting situation. 4th and what we got? 4 yards. But you're on your own side. But they don't punt the ball in junior high either. No, normally what they do, they can take it and move the ball 35 yards downfield or go for it. Now, what would you do on the varsity level? You'd punt. But I think they're going to go for it.
Well, as you and I were talking at the half, off air, yes, it's a 30-6 ball game, but this level of football is more about teaching and learning and the fundamentals of the game. Boy, that play didn't go anywhere as Firelands, again, swarm gang tackling. There were about 3 Falcons there to bring down the Titan. That was Roderick Franklin in the backfield.
And 59, we don't have I wish we had a name on 59 because he is He's defensive specialty,
He has what they call a nose for the football.
Yeah.
He finds it. So the ball will go over on downs to Firelands.
Starting at the 35, but now they're starting at the wrong 35.
Well, now we're going to have some push-ups being administered here on the near side.
Yeah.
It's interesting no matter what level of sports. There's always something just to get the guys a little more focused. There's been many a practice at the NBA level for the Cavaliers that I've been to over the years. And JB doesn't like something. Everybody on the line, we're running. I'm thinking, they do that in 8th grade, 9th grade. But you know what? Gets their attention. So, always fun. So, yeah, everybody didn't like that offensive series. Give me 10 push-ups.
Yeah. That was Nathan Riley getting ready to run the ball, but a quick whistle stopped it. Was that your boy, Mr. Ivy, out there blowing the whistle to stop the play? Wait till everything gets set, I guess.
Now Ivy standing at about the 45-yard line, keeping a keen eye on things. Firelands with their first possession here in the 3rd quarter. Lorain has yet to stop the Falcons, and I don't know if they're going to do it here. That's another long touchdown run. LeBoy tried to make the tackle late, but we already had a score.
Nathan Riley
for Firelands.
Yeah, I think they knew he's running the ball because he was the one that got stopped on the whistle before the play started, the last play.
So that makes it 36-6. And Tom, you were telling me that there will be a running clock now with the 30-point advantage in the second half of play.
Now, Nathan Riley, the scorer, just ran out, but you guess who came in?
The 2-point guy.
Oh, yeah, Caden.
So he has been the 2-point specialist for Firelands. They're going to try it again. And this time he stood up in the back.
No, he's not down.
Oh, no. He lost the ball, and then out of there with it for Lorain came Jordan Finley, but that's a dead ball once that 2-point conversion is not
now,
completed.
If this is NCAA college level, he would still be running.
Yes, he would.
I think they got wise to the Caden Newark 2-point person. Now 36-6.
So you'll have the running clock, correct? And you know what? Listen, it's not for me to sit here and be on a soapbox, but I don't like this rule at this level of football, 7th and 8th grade, because at this level, as I just said a couple of minutes ago to Tom, it's about teaching the game and getting kids reps and getting them on the field and getting everybody involved. And, there's a scoreboard, but in the end, let these kids play. And when you have a running clock, boy, it really shortens the game. And so I don't know if it's something that folks would look at in the future. Plus, the quarters are only 8-minute quarters anyway. So you're really limiting playing time. And if I'm a 7th or 8th grade coach, who cares what the score is? Let me get kids reps.
Yeah, get them to play. Get them to play. Get them to play. That's why we talked them out in the hallway to get them to come out so they could play the game.
Yep. So there is a timeout on the field with 4:40 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 36-6. Firelands, boy, they have demonstrated a terrific offense.
They have.
This afternoon.
Yeah, the offensive coach over there is Nate Hartzell, probably a teacher. I'm guessing a teacher over at Firelands because I know the other coaches are. So.
Well, I mentioned that Ryan O'Rourke was the quarterback for the Avon Eagles back in his high school football days when he played for Mike Elder. So you would think he would be very hands-on as far as the offense is concerned, not only at the varsity level, but all the way down into this middle school level. So
he was a golden helmet winner, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day.
Well, it was interesting. Several years ago, when Ryan was then now the head coach at Firelands. We had one of our preseason coaches show. And so Ryan was there as the head coach of Firelands. And, of course, Mike Elder was there as the head coach of Avon as LeBoy makes the catch, but he's dropped very, very quickly. And so I asked Ryan O'Rourke, should I ask Coach Elder a question about you and your playing days? And he said no, but just ask him, would he rather have me or my brother Justin O'Rourke at quarterback? Because they both were great quarterbacks. So, of course, I asked Elder that question. He did some hemming and some hawing on that one.
Yeah. You hate to judge siblings, don't you?
Well, they were both outstanding quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So Lorain with a loss on their first play here in the drive.
Well, I see Firelands is switching linebackers based on the formation. So, I mean, that's a sophisticated thing in defense.
Got an inside handoff. And it's out to the 35-yard line. I believe.
Robinson
yes.
Again.
Daniel Robinson. Set up a 3rd down and 10 as the ball goes back to the original line of scrimmage. I have to tell you, I mentioned earlier I was over at the studios with Joe Bach and Terry Trout and the gang putting together some sports scene shows. Really impressed with Coach Creel. He's got a nice vision for the Lorain High football program and where he'd like to take it, some of the progress that he has seen. Very, very impressed.
Yeah.
There's a little scoop on the inside.
Put the ball on the ground.
Yep. That wasn't clean from the get-go as Roderick Franklin just wasn't able to get a hold of that ball.
Yeah, and he's explaining to the quarterback how he has to hand the ball off to him. That's something you work out in practice. You don't work that out on 4th down.
So now it's 4th down and about 12. And that's another one of those fundamental aspects that you'll work on, the exchange between a quarterback and a running back. And then you'll take it from there and say, okay, here's how you fake it. You stick it right in the stomach, and then you take it back out.
Oh, yeah. Those are the things you work on day after day after day at this level until it becomes automatic when they get into 9th grade. Now, here's the punt.
Right. So
Lorain just punted the ball, and they're moving to 35 yards downfield.
But getting back to Coach Creel, he talked about the fact that this Lorain High program was really hurt by the 1 year that they had to take off. And so you kind of start from scratch again. And the improvement that he has seen from his ball club from week 1 to now as they enter week 7 as we do this ball game.
Yeah, we were talking, we did a 9th grade game a while back, and the 9th grade were a pretty nice team. And they said, we had some of our 9th graders move up to the 10th grade JV team, but moved them back down so the 9th graders would be very successful.
Stay together.
That's what we always did back in the old days. You kept everyone as a unit so they learned to win, and they wanted to win, and they moved up as a winning group.
Yep. There we go. Nice tackle made for Lorain. I believe that was Rowley on that. No, it was 47, not 27.
Yeah, 40. See, you got another little new running back in, and that's what happens when you get a 30-point lead. You're starting to put some subs in, which is great for the 15 that was standing on the sidelines while watching the first teamers run.
If you're playing 7th or 8th grade football and you're standing on the sideline for most of the game, that's not the way it should happen because you've got to get these kids experience and reps. Know what it's like to be out there and cover somebody or block somebody, hit somebody.
And Nathan, or that's Newark, gets to run the ball. He got face masked a little bit that didn't get called.
And that's going to mark the end of the 3rd quarter. So 36-6 as we head to the 4th here at George Daniel. It's 7th grade football. Lorain and Firelands We'll bring you the final 8 minutes after this on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. Fourth quarter underway as Al Ivy says, wind that clock. And again, we're in a running clock scenario with a 36-6 lead for Firelands as we start the fourth quarter of play. Firelands with the football. And heading to his left is Higher, not able to be brought down in the backfield, heads to the left sideline, finally knocked out of bounds here on the near side. But again, with the running clock, they'll just keep things rolling.
I think that was the juicer Franklin that made the tackle.
Did he tell you why he's called the juicer?
No, he didn't, and I didn't ask. Yeah, you know, if he was like OJ, the
wise
juicer,
decision, yes. So again, running clock, 36-6, Firelands leading, 7th grade football. Tom, I saw you had some scheduling notes there. How many more 7th grade games will there be? Probably not a whole lot more, correct?
No, and I don't know.
Higher on the handoff.
We don't have a name on 47, but
that's some tough running there.
He is. He's the little fullback type, if you look at him.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about gang tackling. There's 9 blue shirts on that tackle.
Well, that's because it took 9
to bring
number 47 down. Yes, he refused to go down.
And there's some look at see that's what's happy over there. Everyone's tapping him on the helmet and then patting him on the back and everything like that. Yeah.
And you're right. This is where the love of football.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the game and learn to love the game. And teamwork.
Yeah. And watching yourself on TV. When they get home, they're going to turn on YouTube and watch this game all over again.
We welcome all of you who are watching it live. There's a nice tackle in the backfield. And,
Twice.
Well, now we got to. Well, the running back for Firelands, we don't have a name for. Oh, yes, we do. It's Newark. Yeah, that's Newark, our 2-point conversion guy. Newark kept going. And so, here's another one for you.
Let's watch it live. Here's Roderick. Down him once. He got up.
Whoop.
Got it.
Now stay there. I'm telling you, stay there. That was LeBoy who gave him the little extra oomph.
You don't kind of see things like this on a varsity level, do you?
Higher with the handoff. And bouncing outside and then shoved out of bounds, although, again, it will not stop the clock with the running clock.
See, that's a 33. It's another name, but see, that's a new running back we have in there. And that's what we said. That's why they don't need a running clock at 7th grade, because the coach is doing everything right. He's putting his second team in, giving them some playing time. They're all going to move up to the 8th grade next year.
Right.
Yeah. You know, that sideline stander who doesn't get into the games sometimes doesn't make it to the next level on purpose. He'll look for soccer.
1st and 10 at the 29. 4.5 minutes to go. There's a nifty
nice little cut.
Move.
Nice
yes.
little move.
And again, just keeps driving those legs, moving forward. Let's send it down to our sideline person for that 21. Oh, we don't have a sideline person. That's the one thing Joe Bach doesn't have going here. My goodness. On Fridays you do? I figured.
Parker Copernica comes back on Fridays.
Joe does an amazing job, except when he had my face up on that beautiful scoreboard down there.
Don't talk about it because you can do it again.
Yeah, well, I can duck.
That's me then.
Like I said, I can duck. They get a nice run for Firelands as they get it down to about the 13-yard line. You know, Tom, we've talked about Firelands and their ability to run the football, but you have to give credit to their guys up front. I mean,
yes.
For a 7th grade football team, they fire off the ball, they hold their blocks.
Yeah.
It's a well-coached 7th grade team.
It is.
Another sweep. This time, Lorain able to make the stop. And again, LeBoy, boy, he's all over the field.
Yeah, that was 74, but that was not the Zepp that made a tackle. There's another 74 out there. I don't have a yeah, we do. Moses Slaughter on a tackle. First time I mentioned his name, but he's that end of the line.
So now we've got a 3rd and 6 as we're down to 2:40 to go in the football game. You're thinking, boy, this second half has flown by. Again, we've got the running clock. So plays that have gone out of bounds and the like. Nothing has stopped that clock from running. There's a good play defensively. That was Slaughter again, wasn't it?
No, that was Robinson coming from the nose man. Yeah, put him in nose, and he handling
that was Daniel
center,
Robinson. Yep, Daniel Robinson. Boy, he exploded into the backfield and made a nice stop there. So it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, he's been in the backfield quite a few times. A couple times he's missed a tackle, trying to go too high on a man, but he'll learn. He'll learn you got to go down on the legs.
We're under 2 minutes to go in the game. Firelands facing 4th and 6. Need to get inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Higher, hands off. That's Newark. Newark tries to bust outside, spun down at the 11. He's going to be short of that first down.
Quado Grant on a tackle.
So Quado Grant, after Newark realized he was bottled up in the middle, tried to break it outside. And Quado Grant able to track him down and stop him short of the first down.
Yeah, that was 4th down. They didn't make it, so turn it over to Lorain. I'm talking to the coach. I asked him some of his defensive specialists. He said, mention Ethan Cougar and Kobe Dotson as some of their defensive specialists. Of course, we didn't see much defense from Firelands. They've been mostly on offense.
Mostly on offense. As Lorain
yeah,
will get it for probably the final time today. 36-6, Firelands leading this one. As we're in the waning moments. Al Ivey saying, wind that clock. Now he's got it.
Do you think Big Al has a date or something? or pizza cooling off in the car? There goes Robinson on a nice
run
little
by
run.
Robinson. Brought it out to the 25-yard line.
Now here's a case where the clock should stop.
But it won't.
Until they get the stick set.
See, and I just think that's unfortunate because for these Lorain 7th graders, stop the clock, give them a couple of more reps. It's not going to hurt anything, and it will give them experience. So we're under a minute to go as Lorain gets set. Another handoff. This one's LeBoy. LeBoy charging out over the 30, the 35, the 40. Boy, look at all those white jerseys it took to bring them down as LeBoy was stopped at the 41-yard line, and Lorain's going to take time.
And that's the only way they'll stop the clock.
Right.
A timeout.
Yep. So Lorain does have one timeout left. Well, while we have the timeout, in all seriousness, we joke and kid about Joe Bach, but I want to thank him. It was a fun day today here in Lorain. For you folks that are watching live on YouTube, or even if you're watching this one at some point after it's been played. We were able to get 3 sports scene shows recorded, and so had a lot of fun recording those sports scenes. Joe, I said I'm going to duck. I see me up on that scoreboard up there, but no, we had a great time. As I mentioned, I had a chance to talk some football, some volleyball, some cross country, and then come over here and do this 7th grade game and sit and spend some time with my great friend Tom Bauer, Joe, and everybody here in Lorain. Thank you so very much. I love doing this. It's so much fun. My schedule does get a little bit busier right now, so I think this is the last you're going to hear or see from me, at least for TV 20 in a while. But no, this was a great day. Really enjoyed it.
You know, if the Firelands players were excited as they were when they heard you were going to be here, I hope they watch the game and they get some appreciation of what you can say.
Here comes LeBoy again. LeBoy, boy, he coughed up the football. Boy, LeBoy was digging and trying to churn out those extra yards, and in the end, he coughed it up.
That may be the last play of the game. I think he recovered his own fumble, or someone else recovered his fumble for him.
So we're down to 8 seconds to go in the ball game, and Lorain indeed will take that final timeout. They're going to get one more snap
One more snap.
And you know what?
That's
right
good.
Here, I don't blame Coach.
Yeah.
Let's get one more rep. Let's see what we can do. I mean, it certainly isn't going to change the outcome of the game, but getting back to those thoughts, indeed, just a great time, and I do hope that folks enjoy it, and I love it. Yeah. So Joe may have me somehow sneak around a time or two in the winter, but that schedule gets booked when you're doing 82 games in the NBA. There's not a lot of free days and nights, but to say we're excited about the upcoming season for the Cavaliers would be a minor understatement. My goodness, the acquisition of Donovan Mitchell.
Wow.
And you put him with Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, the return of Ricky Rubio. Now, Ricky won't be back until early January, maybe even later on. But, boy, this is a team that has so much potential. So
now, some people might not know what I'm going to say. But are you going to do some traveling this year now that the pandemic is over?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll be on the road. So here we go. Final play of the game, unless, of course, there's a penalty. But Lorain's going to get one more crack at this.
There haven't been too many penalties in this game. A very clean.
No, it has been clean. Although I would think the officials, unless it's really egregious, as we say, let the kids play a little bit. So there's the pitch. And now the pass, and it's almost intercepted, not quite. And that's going to end our ball game. So in this 7th grade matchup between Firelands and Lorain, Firelands is going to win it by a final of 36-6. I'll tell you what, for you folks watching in the Firelands School District, boy, a bright future it appears from what we saw at the 7th grade level. And for Lorain, there were some bright spots as well, some things to build on. So it's what 7th grade football is all about. It's teaching and learning, and as Tom said earlier, getting these kids to love the game of football. And so we saw that here this afternoon at George Daniel Field. Tom, final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, we've seen a nicely played game. The scoreboard didn't indicate the results from Lorain, but you've seen a couple positives, especially that Jemiah LeBoy, he's going to be a fine player.
Yes, he's an athlete.
An A student. He's the type that's going to be around for the next 5 years. We'll see him in a varsity, I got to believe, in a day. So, other than that, all you can do, I don't know if this is their last game. I don't know their schedule, but I wish them well. They didn't have a very successful season. Coach said they played a couple nice games, but they learn, and I hope all of these 7th graders move up to the 8th grade next year and carry on.
That's the key.
Yeah,
that is the key, to carry on, move on to that next level, learn a few more things, and by the time you get to Lorain High with Coach Creel and his staff, you'll be ready to play at that level.
You have to learn to love the game, and that's moving up. Right. If you don't love the game, you won't move up and get into the varsity level. That's a fact.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Tommy, my friend, it's been a pleasure.
Hey, you too, Tim.
Oh, this was
We'll
awesome.
See you next time.
This was awesome. So, again, thanks to Joe Bach and everybody involved with TV20. Thanks to Tom Bauer. Biggest thanks, of course, goes to you, the viewers. Hope you enjoyed it. 7th grade football. Firelands wins it 36-6. So we'll talk again down the road here on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. But until then, Tim Alcorn saying once again, thank you much for watching, and so long, everybody.